Coming up on the Sports Desk, the Tartars and the Spartans kick off the Pioneer League season. It's a South Bay shootout. See who gets an early rush toward the league title. And Bishop Volleyball has yet to lose 3 sets in a day all season. That streak on the line when a hated rival comes to town. Plus, Elko has a love affair with close games. Another Saturday afternoon comes down to the wire. Somebody's going to have a broken heart at the end of it. Meanwhile, seems like the Dodgers and the Angels buses run out of gas every October, but LA still got one horse in the race, hunting for the city's second Cup of 2014. Highlights, news, and updates from around town. The Sports Desk starts right now. How's it going, Torrance? Welcome to a new week on the Sports Desk. I'm your host, Wan Hernandez. It's that time of year again. Pioneer League play is underway on the gridiron, which means that every game from this point forward, it's a little important. The South Spartans and the Torrance Tartars both having successful seasons so far, but the big question in this one is who would come out to play? Would we see the Spartans, who went 4-1 their first 5 games, or that Tartar squad that won in the shootout a few weeks ago against Lawndale? Well, to Zamperini Stadium we go. So the Spartans and the Tartars taking it up in Pioneer League play. First quarter, Gabe Zuniga right up the gut for the early score. South with an early 7-0 lead. Tyree Harris now, his show's about to begin. He goes up the gut for a TD of his own. In second quarter, same score. Guess what? Tyree Harris going 57 yards to the house. This guy would have 7 TDs on the night. Torrance up 12-6. Now it's 19-14 Tartars in the second. Gabe Zuniga picked by Tyler Masuli. And big surprise coming up here just a few plays later. That's going to set up none other than a Tyree Harris touchdown. Torrance with the 26-14 lead in the first half. Third quarter now 26-20. Zuniga finds Bailey Biazovic up top for the score. And the Spartans take the lead at 27-26. The Tartars and Spartans keep exchanging blows. South now up 34-33. Torrance QB Vince Huey with the rushing TD here. He's psyched. The Tartars have the lead at 41-34. Zuniga picked off by Robert Chacon here. He's going to run it back. Zuniga would have 3 picks on the night. And that's going to set up, you guessed it, Tyree Harris. Torrance up 48-34 with a commanding lead. Later in the quarter, same score. There's the 3rd pick of the night by Zuniga. Torrance goes on to down south 62-47. Let's hear it from Tyree Harris on the big day he had.
Came out to play. All the praise goes to the O-line. All my wide receivers blocked for me. It was too nice. We're too on today.
Did you have your Wheaties for breakfast or what, man?
I had my oatmeal. Close enough. It helped me out today.
8 lead changes in this game. It was a wild one. Tyree Harris, you heard it, 7 times already, 7 touchdowns and over 300 yards on the ground. South has allowed 99 points during their 2-game losing streak. In their first 4 games of the season, the Spartans only allowed 55. South hasn't beaten Torrance now since 2011. Now, Torrance has been a roller coaster team so far this year. They lost their first game, won the next 2, lost to El Segundo, and now they've put up impressive back-to-back showings. One thing's for sure, Rock Hollis and the double wing T have been putting up points. Let's check in with Coach and the rest of the Tartars on what they need to do to keep the momentum rolling. Colin Kushner has that story for you.
Rock Hollis and the Torrance Tartars have been on fire as of late, rattling off 2 straight wins and putting up 101 points in that span. The good vibes are rolling over at Torrance, but it all started after a crushing loss to El Segundo.
They have a resolve. They don't give up. And when we played that game against El Segundo, they spanked us every way you can be spanked. And, our guys, we all sit down and we talked about, okay, You have a bad game, now let's move on. So now we're treating each game as a playoff game.
That huge 49-7 loss seemed to be the wake-up call Torrance needed. They are now back to their winning ways and look to keep the momentum rolling. The Tartars have dominated South the past few seasons, and Coach Hollis attributes the team's success to his players.
When you have great runners and when you have guys that can do things like Tyree and Tyrone Taylor, a few years ago, Bobby Wilson, it makes it easier. Johnny Hurd, holy smokes.
We have seen how well Torrance's offense has been playing so far, but as the season continues, it's pretty plain and simple. The Charters need to work on their defense.
We've given up a lot of points. We do better a job at our defense, keep that offensive line going, let Tyree have the ball and Sam and those guys, and we'll be all right.
From Zamperini Stadium, this is Colin Kushner reporting for the Sports Desk.
Thanks for that, Colin. The El Camino Warriors now have been in another tough year. They've been battling injuries, and frankly, the calls just haven't been going their way sometimes. Let's see if they could get back on track after 2 straight conference losses to the Seahawk Bowl. We're going to go. Elko cheerleaders a little jazzed up, getting their groove on for the milk can game. First quarter, the Elko D playing out of their minds early on. Bobby Wilson swallows up running back Travis Newberry for the big loss. And off to the second quarter, Elko up 10-7. Joey Notch finds Devontae Jenkins over the top for the 14-yard score. Elko up 17-7. Fast forward now all the way to the fourth quarter. Warriors leading 20-14. Joey Notch hits Jackson Chitachi for the TD. Notch would have 3 TDs on the day. And Elko with the commanding 26-14 lead. Fourth quarter still, this is where the wheels start to fall off. Jimmy Walker hits Justin Caines in the end zone. And Elko's lead now cut down to 5. Cerritos gets the ball back for one last drive. Walker with the pass and the PI is called. Elko does not like that. Of course, nobody ever likes when pass interference is called. They always say it's not. But it's eventually going to lead to the Joseph Donnell run up the middle for the score. Cerritos stuns Elko 29-23 late. Let's hear what Coach John Featherstone had to say.
A very even game. They were fortunate to make that play at the end. But I am disappointed as a head football coach with the crew tonight. I'll be honest with you. I think it's important to let the kids play the game. Let them play. Let them play.
Joey Notch had himself another impressive outing, throwing for over 200 yards and 3 TDs. Devontae Jenkins with 4 catches and 39 yards and a touchdown. But once again, it was the penalties for Elko that's really alarming. They have 14 for 130 yards. In 6 games this season, Elko has 84 penalties for 697 yards. That's some Raider numbers right there. Warrior Nation has seen better days. There's no better way to put it. But despite what has happened, Coach John Featherstone is still positive as his team moves forward. Colin Kushner has that story for you.
That's the way football is sometimes.
Elko's football season hasn't exactly gone as planned. They have dropped their last 3 games. 2 of those losses coming to conference opponents. The Warriors go into the bye week 2-4 overall and just 0-3 at home. For El Camino, the football gods just haven't been on their side.
I can't think of the last time where we've had this type of season early. We're usually right in the hunt after 5 games. And our kids have been working so hard for 5 weeks. Regardless of our record, I mean, we are certainly so much better than our record.
We got some stuff that just didn't go our way, I guess. We had a couple calls. I know in the second game there was a call that didn't go for me. This game, it was kind of got some penalties that killed us. I mean, little things like that is just what ruins games that we should have won.
It's been a tough first half of the season for the El Camino Warriors so far. They've battled tons of injuries on the offensive side of the ball, but Coach Featherstone is still optimistic about his team going forward.
We got 5 more. Our kids will show up. We're going to keep coaching them like we always have and always will. And I'm hoping down the stretch that some of the adversity that we've had to go through in 2 games, we can find a way to beat 2 other good teams and still be in the hunt.
So we just got to go in, do our weight room, get in our film, learn from our mistakes, and just make sure to get a W next week or whatever. We just got to step it up.
We all remember the fourth down pass from Joey Notch to Nicky Roos that was called incomplete against Ventura College. Elko lost that game 33-30 in their home opener. And that brings us to their most recent home game, where they were up 26-14 with just under 4 minutes to go. But some questionable penalties and the 1-yard touchdown by Joseph Donnell cost them the game. Luckily, there is still plenty of football to be played, and with a bye week coming up, the Warriors will look to right the ship. Reporting for the Sports Desk, I'm Colin Kushner.
Thank you for that, Colin. The North Saxons played in their first game since that scuffle against Inglewood back on September 26th. The official ruling, a double forfeit, and the Saxons forced to open up league play against Centennial without 9 of their players. Even with some key players missing due to the suspensions, the Saxons are able to squeak this one out against Centennial, 20-19. Isaac Castillo had the go-ahead touchdown with just under 2 minutes to go in the game. On the ensuing kickoff, Joseph Rodriguez recovers and seals the victory for the Saxons. Chris Kawhi has a pair of TDs as North starts off league play with a victory. The last time the Saxons lost to Centennial takes us all the way back to 2011. Meanwhile, West kept a nice 0 in the loss column with a 45-7 thrashing of Losinger. Brett Ogie keeps his touchdown streak alive, finding pay dirt twice. The Warriors starters were pulled early and some of their JV players got playing time under the lights. West finally gets over that 6th game curse with another big W. They improved to 6-0 on the year, 1-0 in league play. Since 2010, the Warriors have only allowed 14 points to Losinger. 3 of those 5 years, they've shut out the Olympians altogether. Now, we all know that the Bishop Montgomery Knights have had their struggles this season, but after putting up 35 against Mary Star of the Sea, things look like they were turning around, and coming off of a bye, it looks like that offense that struggled is finally starting to click. Quarterback Austin Garby had 3 touchdowns as the Knights beat down Bosco Tech 49-0. Garby had 2 long TD passes, one to Chris Hughes and one to Dominic Johnson to lead the Knights. Running back Carter London added a TD on 74 yards rushing. This is the second double-digit win by Bishop so far this season, actually second in a row. Coming up now, the last time Bishop Montgomery beat LaSalle on the volleyball court, President Obama was in his first term. If this year's squad is for real, they're going to have to break a 5-year slump in pursuit of the Delray League title.
Need to dispose of used motor oil and filters? With nearly 30 locations in Torrance, it's easy to dispose of them safely and legally. Finding the location nearest to you is as easy as turning on your computer. Just log on to recycletorrance.org. When it's time to dispose of expired prescription medicines, don't put them down the sink or toilet, in the trash, or in a storm drain. Take them to a household hazardous waste collection site or a LA County Sheriff's Station. Find them at recycletorrance.org.
To Maddie, congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, pet them, care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture, you can jump, yell, you can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. 'Cause we're connected.
Hi, welcome back. 5 years ago, the Bishop Knights took a season sweep over the LaSalle Lancers on the volleyball court. Since then, the Knights have finished behind the Lancers in the Delray League standings every season, including back-to-back second-place finishes while LaSalle took the league title. They've lost all 9 head-to-head matchups along the way, with the most painful of all coming in the 2012 CIF semifinals. That playoff loss was the only time the Knights were even able to force a decisive 5th set in the dreadful 5-year losing streak. Coming into 2014, the Lancers held an even more dominant streak, winning their last 3 over the Knights, all in 3-set sweeps. So, with a new league season underway and the team set to meet, you could say the Lancers have the Knights' number. Or, you could just say The Knights are due.
The Bishop Montgomery Knights have used the word team chemistry plenty in 2014. It's a quality that sounds vague, but when faced with 2 opening set losses against their biggest rival, it was time to walk the talk.
The first 2 sets, it was really frustrating. We knew we could do better, and we were getting within ourselves and getting in our head, and we just told everybody to take deep breaths, and we can do it, just play our game, and we'll be fine.
I mean, losing is always frustrating, but you have to have a positive mindset because we still have 3 more matches ahead of us, so losing was not in my mind.
So what's the recipe to avoid losing a 3rd set for the first time this season? For ending a 5-year drought against a team that's won the last 3 Delray League titles, the same team that defeated you in the 2012 CIF semifinal. We start at the end of the 2nd set, a 22-25 loss to put Bishop in a 2-game hole. Win out or go home. The coaching staff can't preach chemistry without displaying it themselves, so here it's an assistant coach who pulls the team aside with some words of wisdom.
I mean, my coaching staff this year, 2 assistants that I have, and even our manager, everyone is so involved. And I just feel very blessed to have that they do all the tracking on the offense and stuff. And so that was exactly what the girls needed to hear was, okay, this is what they're running on this play, this is what they're doing on this play, this is their go-to here, this is what we need to do against them. And that's what they're there for. So I think that it was more just informative. They're going to give them all the information that they need, and it's up to the girls to kind of execute.
The turnaround begins with Bishop taking the 3rd, 25-22. Still facing a 2-1 deficit, momentum hasn't swung quite yet, but Featherstone's ace in the hole is just getting warmed up. Something she's had brewing for a week leading up to this night.
We've been talking about this game all week. I mean, we had lunch in Teachers Lounge yesterday, and I said, teachers, please give extra credit for your kids coming to this game. We need your support. We have a really great chance of beating this team this year, and it hasn't happened as long as I can remember.
With the student section as rowdy and involved as a CIF playoff game, the Knights are sparked to a 5-set win over their biggest rival. It's the first time Bishop Montgomery has taken a win over LaSalle since October 27th, 2009. The team celebrates, and Featherstone thanks her student section for fueling the fire.
They were in it. They were fired up, just as fired up as we are, but they were also very classy. I just appreciate them coming out here and taking their time that they could be studying or getting homework done and supporting our girls.
More than just a single Delray League victory, a win over LaSalle announced this year's Bishop squad is for real. It took assistant coaches, a gymnasium full of students, and of course an unfazed team on the court to crawl out of Bishop's biggest hole yet. Only question left is, where's all this 2014 mojo coming from?
Maybe it's because there were no expectations. I think last year there was a lot of expectations to win and to have a really successful season. This year we had 5 returners and a lot of young kids coming up, and so we didn't have a lot of expectations. All I want to do is teach the kids the game, and they're bought in to where they want to learn. So we've come a long way so far, and I think we're just scratching the surface of our potential, which is really exciting.
The Knights starting their week in first place in the Delray League. Coincidentally, 2009, also the last year Bishop Montgomery placed higher than LaSalle in the league standings. They followed that emotional victory over LaSalle with another Delray League win, a 3-set sweep over Bishop Vermont in the beginning of this week. No comebacks, no drama. As for the rest of Torrance, the annual Kim Blankenship Challenge took place at West High. For the first time in its 8-year history, the event featured all 4 Torrance schools, West, South, North, and Torrance, as Pioneer League opponents. With South and North taking the opening night victories over Torrance and West, you can't script it any better than this. The Spartans and the Saxons' first meeting of the season will decide the winner of the challenge and first place in the Pioneer League early on. Also in the hunt for first place, the El Camino Warriors are staying hot. It's 2 North High alums leading Elko to a 3-set sweep over East LA on the road. Darlene Lee and Nicole Echeverry combined for 22 kills over 3 sets. Then the Warriors took down LA Trade Tech and sole possession of first place in the South Coast Conference at the end of the week, combined with the Mount Sac loss. The El Camino Warriors have lost just 1 set in conference play to start the 3rd week of the regular season schedule. Meanwhile, the men's soccer team is following suit with their own official hot streak. At the beginning of the season, the Warriors were undefeated but winless in a frustrating stretch of 4 consecutive draws. They moved to 3-1 in conference play with 3 wins to open up October. They're averaging 2 goals a game in South Coast Conference play, with their only loss of the entire season coming against Mount San Antonio College. They enter the week tied with them for first, both carrying 9 points apiece. Meanwhile, the ladies at Elko continue to struggle, still searching for their first win since September 2nd. The North Saxons ladies played in the 23-team Ayala tournament. Cindy O led the way, shooting a 4 under par 70, leading the Saxons to a 5th-place tournament finish. Mater Dei, Diamond Bar, Beckman, and St. Lucy's were the 4 schools ahead of them at Los Serranos Golf Course, so the Saxons playing in good company this fall. On the LPGA Tour, meanwhile, Jenny Shin, the former Torrance Tartar, continues her professional success. Shin collected consecutive top 20 finishes in Malaysia and in Beijing to make her 21st and 22nd LPGA cuts in 2014 Tour events. She's currently ranked 21st on the LPGA money list for the season and 20th in the race for the CME Globe. All right, everybody, coming up with the Dodgers and the Angels early October exits, LA sports fans still have one last chance for a 2014 championship trophy. Can a visit from the Cup keep the Galaxy focused on a 5th MLS Cup?
What about my privacy?
It's protected.
And the music I listen to? Protected.
What about how I wear my hair?
And the things I say and write?
The Constitution protects your rights.
It isn't an old, fading piece of paper.
It's a living document.
The Constitution says there are 3 branches of government.
So we're kind of like the 4th branch of government.
We are the future of America.
Find out how you can become part of Constitution Day.
For me.
For all.
For real.
Constitution Day is every day.
Think you found every hazard out here today? Think again. The spot you missed could be a killer. That spot on your skin could be skin cancer. Fact is, if you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills 1 person every hour. 1 in 5 Americans is likely to develop a form of skin cancer during their lifetime. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. It could be the save of a lifetime. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Hi, welcome back. With or without an NFL team, there's no shortage of things to do, watch, or stress over for the LA sports fan. Right now, that focus turns to a team just up the road. This week, Landon Donovan will play his final regular season home game for the LA Galaxy before retiring. 2014 has been an up-and-down year for the U.S. national team's all-time leading scorer, being left off the American World Cup roster, then not allowing himself to escape the microscope when he joined ESPN's coverage of the tournament as a broadcast analyst. Now, after deciding to hang up his cleats, the media roller coaster is only moving faster, becoming Major League Soccer's all-time assists leader in front of home fans with his final game right in front of us.
It's, as each game comes, it's getting more and more real, and now we'll go on the road next week, and then it'll be the last home game in the regular season, so that's going to bring something. It'll be the last away game, and then the playoffs start, and that's when it all matters, so there's going to be a sense of urgency now for me personally, and I'll try to enjoy it, but I can't promise that it's going to be easy the whole time.
Speaking of the playoffs, perhaps a little boost of enthusiasm or just a reminder as Landon tries to close out his final go-round by giving the Galaxy their 5th MLS Cup, the most famous cup in all of sports, made a StubHub cameo.
That was cool. I mean, I think everybody got it for 4 days, so I did too, and I brought it home to Slovakia, to my hometown, and it was an awesome experience. And
craziest thing you've seen done, or craziest thing you did with the cup after you guys won it this year?
I'm sure there is a lot of stories, but I think everybody wants to keep it for themselves, and it's just a cool thing to have it for a day. I think it's the best trophy in sports, and I really enjoy my day.
Donovan's final regular season home game will be played with the Supporters Shield on the line. The Galaxy and the Seattle Sounders' 60-point tie in the standings is an MLS record for most combined points two teams have ever had entering a regular season finale. This comes after Donovan closed the book on his U.S. men's national team career in East Hartford just a week ago. But unlike Derek Jeter's farewell tour, number 10 will be able to play his final game as a professional in the postseason. Before we say farewell for the day, time to pass on how you can get in touch with the Sports Desk anytime. We're always just an email away when you have a great story idea, you want to have us out to a game with you, or you just feel like sending us a hello message. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up on the Sports Desk this week. We will see you next time.